RPG first. QB2.
I guess I'm not 3.
QB2.
It was first time back for you since 13 or 14, is that right?
Yeah, since my rookie year.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a while, man, but it's good to be home.
Yeah, what are you looking to get out of this weekend? What are you here for? Like, what's the big reason you're here?
Just bring a little, bring some light to Easter, man. Bringing the 4 of us back, it was a unique opportunity. Couldn't say no to it, and just felt like it was the right thing to do. I've enjoyed every bit of this weekend. It's been a blast, and hopefully tonight's the same way.
You bring back some memories coming back here? I mean, like, you had some really good times here.
Oh yeah, a lot of memories. Saw the old house on 7th Street. That was really cool. Just seeing the stadium and everything yesterday, meeting the team, meeting the coaches, just brings back all those memories. We saw the field looked sharp, track looked sharp. It's those little things that they just bring back all those memories, all those good games that you had here, all those wins. It was time of my life, man. It was fun.
I'm curious what you think about the college football landscape right now, given that the House ruling mandating power conferences to favor players. And what do you think about it? How do you think it's going to affect Easter?
To be honest, I'm not too sure. It's the Wild West out there, man, with this whole NIL. Kids getting paid. I mean, I got teammates now that are rookies who are getting paid less than they were in college. So it's a wild landscape. I just hope these kids keep their heads, do the right thing, and don't get too caught up in all the nonsense part of it.
Jimmy, how did this place kind of pave the way for you, even this many years later?
Oh, I mean, it made me into the man I am. Honestly, went through some tough times freshman, sophomore year. Really started to grow junior and senior year, and the rest is history. Things really took off for us. We had a great team. Coach Babers and his staff really took us to the next level, but Easter made me who I am today, and I wouldn't change a bit about it.
Why was right now the right time for you to come back?
Because these guys get now. We had just a cool opportunity. It's tough to get the 4 of us all in the same place at once. This was a good time for me, just being OTAs and everything. It's not the busiest time of year, so just felt right, man. It feels right being here.
What was the biggest thing you learned at Easter during your 4 years there?
Biggest thing, just how to deal with adversity. Prior to Eastern, really, high school, everything was kind of a piece of cake. Didn't really deal with anything, but Eastern started to deal with some things, coaching changes, things like that, and that was my first experience of the real world kind of thing. Things happen, good, bad, or indifferent. You just got to roll with the punches and make the best of the situation. Eastern taught me that.
You kind of look back on that with things that happened in the last couple of seasons with you in the NFL.
Hell yeah, yeah. Yeah, NFL's tough, man. But like I said, if you could roll with the punches, if you could make the best of your situation, regardless of what the circumstances is, things are going to work out for you in the end. And that's one thing I literally learned that at Eastern, and it's applied to my life ever since.
You've been here since Thursday, right?
Friday.
What have you guys been doing?
Been a little busy. A couple things on the schedule. Went over to the Drakes earlier today. That was really cool seeing them. I haven't seen those guys in forever. But just a lot of familiar faces, man. It feels like family when you come back. That's the best part.
You said you went to your old house. Is there anything else that you want to check out since coming back to Charleston?
We're just driving around, seeing the old places. Stu's is still standing somehow. Just seeing the old bars, Douglas Hall, all those little things. There's a couple new buildings here and there, but Charleston, still Charleston at heart. I love that about it. All good? Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
How you guys doing? Look, this started Coach Shanahan at his restaurant, a couple of the EIU people. We had dinner, and we just began the idea of trying to get a group of players and coaches together and maybe find a weekend that we could do that to help the program and ultimately help the program raise funds. But we've all known each other in one way, shape, or form. I've coached Tony. Coach Shanahan has worked with Jimmy. But this is the first time the 4 of us have ever been together anywhere, and so I think, but bigger than that, it's almost like representing our teams, and coaches got a group of players that he played with and then a group of players he coached, so two different teams really for himself. Our experiences here, although a lot of them are somewhat different, there are some very common themes. So a lot of times it's the names of certain places that, like Jimmy just referenced Stu's, and I have no idea what that is. That kind of thing. Yeah. So it was 2013, just close to 11 years ago.
What do you remember about this place when you were here? Not trying to date you, Sean.
No. So yeah, I was a freshman. I was Daryl Mudra's last recruiting class in 1982, and man, at that point, they were winning football games. So my redshirt freshman year in 1982, Daryl's last year, we beat Jackson State, and then lost to Tennessee State in a close game down in Nashville. Lived at Douglas Hall for 2 years, then 2nd Street for 2 years, and then back in the dorms my 5th year in '87, Ford Hall. But look, I don't know if you define high school and college, or when people use the term formidable years, I think, man, the growth that takes place for any student through high school and through college, there are all these things that impact maybe directions we go. And I think that certainly for me, this was one of those things that was extremely important. Coach Mudra recruited me, then after 1982, Al Moldy came in, and so I had Coach Moldy for 4 years. These guys Tony had Spoo, Jimmy had Dina, and so we've all had different people that influenced us, but the common denominator was this university. And someone last night said, "You guys do this a lot," and I looked and I thought, no, we can't do this a lot. This is the only place we can do this. Do we speak sometimes? Yeah, but this is different.
How rare is this for Eastern? I mean, the fact that you guys have so much success from a school like Eastern that, nationally probably doesn't get as much credit as it should for all the success that you guys have had.
Yeah, it's interesting when you bring up the topic. And when I first got here, I would say, hey, this is where Coach Shanahan went. And then, years later, I'm in Dallas and Tony's coming out, and then Jimmy's coming out, and there's been, a lot of other great players that played on many of our teams that aren't here that certainly would be just as deserving of being here. But it's got a little niche that's kind of cool, and there's a sense of pride that all of us have, and I think that would be probably the number one reason, the draw to come in here. We've met, probably maybe a year ago at Mike's restaurant, and then I'm like, all right, I'll get on the young guys. So I sent them a text. So this is QB1 reaching out to QB2 and 3. And I didn't identify who 2 or 3 was. I'd let them fight over it, but I said, hey, here are 4 dates. You guys got to figure this out. And then this is before Jimmy had signed with the Rams. But ultimately, we got a weekend organized, and we pulled it off. And Mike and Tom, all the folks here from Eastern, really helped put together. It's more than just someone asked, "What have you guys been doing?" And I'd say, "We'll get a new tape in there." Mike and I got in Thursday evening. Of course, we both live in Denver. These guys got in Friday, and we really had a number of things that I think that have all been pretty good experiences and helpful.
So this place kind of helped shape you into the coach that you are today.
I
When did
think-
you know that you were going to be a coach?
Well, good question. I felt like, look, I wanted to play. We all want to play as long as we can. And then my dad was a businessman, so he put a suit on every day, and he put his high black socks on with rubber bands that kept him up, and he had varicose veins, and got on a train every day, went into the city, and I thought, man, I don't know if that's what I want to do. I think I knew by the time I was playing here that I wanted to be in football, and if it wasn't as a player, then it would be as a coach. I think more importantly, any of the success, you certainly go through adversity, right? and that builds you. But any success then you're able to have as a team, there's a certain amount of confidence you gain from that as an individual that can help you. But I think most importantly, to some degree, we're developing our grit, because you get tested and tried. And someone asked about our current climate in college football. And I think that's one of the concerns relative to, there are a lot of exit doors. And I can't think about how many times if there was a portal that I walked across the field back to Douglas Hall that I would have been like, man, there just wasn't, you had to figure it out. So that development for me at a young age, I think was very important. And then ultimately, my closest friend in school here, we were both the same age. John Rafferty started in 1983, and we were roommates and remain close friends to this day. And then he got hurt at the end of the year. I played some, and then I started 84, 5, and 6. But I would say all those lessons that Jimmy referenced, that we're still young when we're here. We're still looking for the right major. I thought it was business, couldn't pass the math. I don't know what I was thinking about econ. And then Dr. Bach was the head of the speech department. He helped do some work on game days, and you're finding yourself. And so that, and all of us are from the Midwest. 3 of us are from Illinois, and Tony's from Wisconsin. So, this kind of feels like home when you land here.
What was your favorite moment as a player at Eastern?
Favorite moment? So we were a playoff team my freshman year. We were a playoff team the next year. We were a playoff team. So in '86, we played Northern Iowa, and you guys will remember. It was the winner of the game wins the conference and goes to the playoffs. And this is now our former coach, Coach Mooder's team, and he's getting ready. He's already built that program. And we had a 2-touchdown lead, 2 minutes left. Dwayne Pitts, one of my good friends, fumbles the toss. He thought the toss was poor. I thought it was a good toss. No, but we fumble the ball. They get the ball, score. Then we go 3 and out. They score again. Pretty soon they're up 1 with 18 seconds left, and we don't know what just hit us. We had a 2-score lead. They kick off to us. We complete a deep out route, 1 more completion, and then Rich Emke. There's 3 seconds left. It's a 58-yard field goal. Now the field wasn't field turf. I mean, it was, call it grass if you want to, but in the month of November, December, it was muddy, and he hit a 58-yard field goal to win the game, and that sent us into the playoffs. And obviously, when a question like that is asked, I think of wins, and that was a big win. We went on to play Murray State, and then Eastern Kentucky.
Thanks, Sean.
All good?
I'm good.
All right.
Thanks, Sean.
Get ready for this one. I meant Tony. Be the timer.
Me and Sean love each other.
Tony, when was the last time you were back here?
I think I've been asked that about 10 times, but it's always a tough one because I'm like, I don't know, 4 years or was it 10 years ago? I mean, I've got 3 young boys, 12, 10, and 6. So for me, the years kind of fly by and you're just turning into a taxi cab driver a little bit sometimes. But it's been a really fun ride. But seeing all the old people, feels like home again, just like the other guys. It's been a really special week, weekend being around these guys. We've never been in the same room, like Sean said, but I'm really enjoying myself. So.
What do you think this means for EIU to have this moment tonight?
I don't know. I think that's for other people to describe. I just know for us it's very, unique, special. It's hard, to get people of this caliber. I mean, these guys, who have done so much. I'm just fortunate to be around them, and I feel like getting us all here together. The stories that are being told would. Part of you wishes you could record half of them, just because it's pretty unique. It doesn't happen all the time.
Do you have one specific memory of being here that stands out, whether it's off the field or on?
I've got a couple actually. Like when you asked that question earlier to Sean, I was thinking about it, and I said, one of my best men in my wedding, I had co-best men, I met at Douglas Hall, right, 2 doors down. So I'm like, he works now with me at CBS. So he's my right-hand guy, Tom Brewer. And I sit there and I go, like, how fortunate, I was to, get a chance to, connect and have someone that's going to be a lifelong friend, that's going to go through everything with your kids, and see him with Roman and him getting married and just everything. It's just been, that's pretty, that's what college is about. You meet so many people and the relationships, but then on top of it, just, it shapes you. You're growing up, you're maturing. My mom was not here to do my laundry. That was disappointing to start. It took me a little while to figure out some of the laundromat. Sean kind of stole, I feel like, a lot of dimes from the laundromat, did you say? You used to go in and you could get it right back out.
There's a way to do that. I kind of feel like you could probably do it today too, based on going past.
Still hoping that laundromat makes it without all that money that Sean didn't give it. But I think that, that's the stories. That's stuff we're talking about. That's just priceless. And we've talked a lot of football, but a lot of other stuff. Another memory for me would be like, he talks about the field goal. I can remember beating Eastern Kentucky on the last play. It was 4th down and 10. And we literally had 2 seconds on the clock. And we were down 4 or 5 points. And I can remember the play like yesterday, where you look through and then end up scrambling. And I don't know if I'm faster or slower than Jimmy Garoppolo over here, but he got a big 3rd and 8 that he talked about earlier that he got the first down on. And I just dove across, the goal line where literally the pylon's right there. And you put the ball out and you hope this guy who's running after you doesn't hit you before it gets there. And then it's, we scored and we won the game. But I can remember right after that, I get right to the track. And everybody on the team comes running over because I think it was for the conference title. And when everyone jumps on you, you're on the track. And I'm like, I wish I was still on the field, because I'm sitting here like, I don't want to die after having a big moment right here, but it was one of the most special moments I've had in football.
That game was here, right?
Yeah, that was.
I think we got a video of that in our archive, that pulled that.
I certainly hope so. I mean, it's one of the biggest moments in the history of any of these guys' careers.
What do you think about the current college football landscape right now?
I think Sean said everything. So I think we just take his quotes and put everything on him. I'm fine with that, if you guys agree.
Could you talk a little bit about this?
It's an interesting one, though, if I'm being honest. It feels like everyone's a free agent every year. I mean, you feel like if you're in the NFL and everyone was a free agent every year, it's like, whoa, there just needs to be something. I don't have the answers, but I'm okay with it. I know a lot of people talk about that affecting the game. I don't necessarily believe that. I mean, I got 3 young boys, and I'm like, you'd want them to have the ability to, put themselves in the best position possible for success. Any parent wants that for their kid. However, you think of the coaches and what they have to do to try and keep these kids, and it's like, it's almost impossible, to do both. I mean, we had that discussion this week where we're recruiting the young kids and we're trying to let them know how special this place is, because East Illinois is extremely special. You come here, you not only do you get the advice of our incredible coach Wilkerson, you get a lot of stuff that Mike Shanahan brought. Sean Payton, Jimmy Garoppolo, Bob Spoo, Dino Babers, just Roy Wiki, a ton of great, people you don't get at other schools, especially at this level. But now they also have to recruit their own players. And the time on task is just a lot to ask. So I just feel like it needs to have something that, in the NFL, if you had free agents every year, you'd be like, we need to find a way to figure out how to manage this whole situation, because it's just a lot for a lot of people.
Just a photographic memory that you have, you can basically dissect a play before it happens like you do on TV. Is that something that you were able to kind of do here when you went here?
I feel like I've always been pretty decent with spatial awareness, and so if you'd been part of some of the talks that we've had this week, I think some people would appreciate it. You're going to hear some of it tonight, because me and Sean have no choice but to talk about football, and Mike, over and over again. So we're going to bring it up, but I think it's just math. At a certain point, it's space and leverage and math. in the game is like, okay, but if this guy can't keep his leverage, let's not put him in a position to be out leveraged. Now that's on us as coaches. So it's like the game just, the deeper you get into it, it just kind of tightens so you kind of know and can simplify it.
Could you talk a little bit about this Eastern Illinois club in the NFL? I mean, like, do you guys keep track of each other at all?
I usually do follow, you know, you can follow your phone. I follow Sean where he's at. I follow my iPhone all the time, so when he goes out at night, I'm like, get home. It's a joke. No, we just keep in touch through text here and there and that stuff. But I mean, the thing you can tell already, just our bond, the relationship, that's always been there. I think uniquely, I've always been close with Sean. He was my coach when I came into the NFL. But I was also close with Mike. He recruited me to come into the NFL to go to Denver, and I almost went there. And so that could have easily went that route. But, you know, I'll always have a bond with Jimmy just because he beat all of Sean's records. And, you know, this is just the kind of stuff we do. Right? We're around each other. And so it's fun, it's enjoyable, and it's unique. And I don't think everybody has that.
What's the biggest thing you learned just about yourself as a football player at Eastern?
That I wasn't good enough. I think it's the biggest thing. After my first year, Coach Spoo called me into his office, and he asked these coaches, you have a year-end review, like everyone comes in. Jimmy was probably a part of a few of those with Belichick. Pretty fun, you always told me, I'm sure. But I mean, they're gonna be honest coaches, they should be. We're trying to improve. So you gotta be direct, tell the players, you know, what they really need to improve upon. And Coach Spoo brought me in and he told me, I think you should change positions. So I needed to improve at quarterback for sure. That was a direct way of saying, you know, that I wasn't good enough. And I think that was probably the start of my mental approach the rest of my really life, but definitely career. It was just, I said, give me till the end of spring ball. If you don't see an improvement, you know, in the next 3-4 months, really probably 5 back then, I feel like then we can have this discussion, but just give me one more chance, see if I can improve at quarterback.
What was Plan B positionally?
It was tight end.
Oh.
It would have been rough. I wouldn't be in the room right now with these guys, let's say that. Coach Spoo's vision would have taken place. But, you know, what's funny is just, I would never skip a day without working hard at football. And so that was literally, and I went over 10 to 15 years without ever not throwing a ball, without improving at football in some capacity, where I felt like I exhausted myself at something to get better at football. And what happened is just through repetition. You know, the God-given gifts that I had through instincts or spatial awareness, the other part needed to catch up. Because I got into football late. You know, like Jimmy, we're junior in high school, really, it was the first time I really played quarterback. And so, but that conversation with Coach Spoo changed the trajectory of my life.
Coach Wilkerson kind of talks about Coach Spoo like his father figure at Eastern Illinois. Is that an accurate assessment, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, these guys have gotten to know Wilkerson this week, but he was here coaching on the staff when I was here. And to say the players gravitated toward him, I mean, is an understatement. He was a coach that people liked. He had the pulse of the team. He helped Coach Spoo in ways that Coach Spoo was great at this, Wilkes was great at this. And so the yin and yang of it, I think, is always what you're looking for. But he was a young coach who just, it felt like just finished playing. You know, don't know the exact time period, but I do know that he could talk and communicate at a very high level. And, you know, when they were going through the coaching search, he really stood out to me because I was like, well, if all the players liked him and he could coach them and he was passionate and he brought it every day and he's been successful and he knows football. So when I call him, like, I just need to know that he knows football. Like, know, you know, and know that he knows. And when I did and talked, as they were going through, I was like, you know, trying to help. And it's like not my decision anyway, but all of us, you know, who talked to him, you were like, this is the guy. And I, you know, had firsthand account when he was here, and I'm like, he's different than the rest. And I think we're very fortunate to have him.
Let Coach Shanahan go, and then I'll let
Yeah, thanks, Joe. You got it.
have about your time here?
Well, I've had members as a player, not very good as a player because I didn't play very long, but the year and a half that I actually did play, you meet, you have so many relationships with teammates all the way through your, I was there 70 through 75 and got a chance to meet guys before me, guys after I left, so, and then come back here in 78, and actually experience the same type of experience as a coach and obviously have a chance to have a little success at the same time. So it's kind of like a dream come true.
You guys together for the first time, all four of you. Like, what kind of stories have you been able to share? I know you talk all the time, right?
I'll be honest with you. You come and you graduate from Eastern, and then all of a sudden you say, okay, I'm watching these guys. I said, who are these guys? These guys are really having success. Well, Eastern didn't have a lot of success. And then all of a sudden, you take a look at Sean, you look at the teams he's winning, you take a look at Tony, you take a look at Jimmy. So I found not only each coach through a playing career, but playing career and coaching career as well. So it's been fun for me to have a chance to spend some time at Eastern because I spent so much time just following them on a daily basis as a guy that was their fans coming to Eastern. So it's been a great experience for me.
How different does the campus feel since you were here?
Well, to be honest with you, it gets better. All of a sudden you take a look at the facilities, you take a look at the kind of the background. I knew where the soccer fields used to be and baseball fields, and what a great job they've done on the campus. I haven't had a chance to drive around a whole lot to kind of look at Lake Charleston or anything like that. But,
You haven't had a minute.
What's that?
You haven't had 1 minute to drive.
No, we haven't had 1 minute, is the truth, but it's been fun.
I feel like a lot of people at Eastern come to Eastern because of you four guys, but you four guys weren't here before you came to Eastern. What kind of drove you to come to Charleston?
Well, number one, it was the only scholarship I had offered. And that was a big thing for me, at the time. And, you're kind of visiting the schools, Western, the Illinois states, but when you offered a full scholarship, especially for me, it meant that somebody wanted you. And when somebody really wants you, and you visit the campus, and I thought, wow, what a great town. I think I really want to go to school here. And I knew I wanted to get involved in coaching eventually one day, and I just had a great feel here when I talked to the coaches and had a chance to spend some time here.
Is there any spots in Charleston that you hit back up since you've been back here?
Any what?
Any spots like you used to go to when you were a student?
Yeah, a lot of them aren't here anymore, but anyway, we've been to so many different places that we were here as students, and I can name the Hikes and the Sporties and Marties and all the used to be Mothers and used to be Cheeks, but different places you experience some of the greatest times in your life, celebrating or being with your best friends, and you don't realize that once you get into the real world, your college friends were your closest friends, guys you went to war with, guys you sacrificed with, and the highest highs and the lowest lows, but you enjoyed fighting with them. And so you're your best friends for life, and you never lose that feeling for them. So when you see them anywhere from, some of these guys I haven't seen for 50 years. And I see them, I said, they're my best friends today because of the experience that we went through. But unfortunately, you all go in your same direction, so that's part of the great experience of coming back.